Hey, yo, welcome back to Right at the Wire, and I wish you all a very happy and safe Thanksgiving as well as a happy holiday season. Today, we're going to be looking at the Hollywood Turf Cup, which is going to be run at Del Mar on Friday, and it looks to be a pretty competitive race, so let's take a look at it.
Okay, so the Hollywood Turf Cup is a Grade 2, and it's the seventh race on Friday's card at Del Mar. It's running a mile and a half on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. And this is an interesting field in that I think in a way, it kind of lacks shape to a degree. And it's not the biggest or the greatest Grade 2 field. It's more of a Grade 3 or ungraded, in my opinion. But I think there's some value to be had. So let's take a look at the field. We're just going to go through them one by one, and to get a full picture of them. Number one is Francesco Clement, and he has gait issues, and it doesn't mean he breaks poorly. It just means he's slow to get going. And he's run against better overseas, but he doesn't appear to have adjusted to California yet. However, the potential is there, but let's say under for now, especially with the other more prominent closers and the fact that he's a little slow to get going. In this race, tactically, that would probably put him at a bit of a disadvantage, but I think you can comfortably use him under. I find it hard to take him on top, especially at short odds. Yes, this time to me is sort of representative of this race. He has run at the Graded Stakes Company, but he has failed every single time, and he seems to stick around, but just doesn't have enough late. Um, that's really the issue, and I don't really see that there's room for improvement at 5 years old. He seems to be stuck in the same speed level. Um, but in this field, and the fact that he does rate, I mean, I think you can maybe throw him in for a slice, but I would have to say that's the extent of it. And I could really, I could go either way, and I could even toss him. It just depends. Luca is, we really don't know what we have, of course, coming from Chile, but Neil Drysdale is one of these trainers that, he's very conservative, and when he puts a horse in a race, there's a reason for it. So I have to believe that if he's going to debut Luca in a graded stakes coming from Chile, then he must have a pretty good indication that this one can fit. And that's really what I'm going on more than anything else. It's just hard to gauge the class based upon the races in Chile. I mean, we've had him in the past be pretty good, like Invasor, who won the Uruguayan Triple Crown and was Horse of the Year and was phenomenal. But by the same token, also could be, he could be a bust too. You just don't know. So I think you have to kind of throw Luca in the mix, and maybe the value will float up so we can get a little bit better price. And then, if that's the case, maybe you try with a win bet or two. But for now, I think it's just in the mix more than anything else. Like, there's nothing to show me to real excitement except the fact that Drysdale put this one in the race. Planetario, I didn't have enough in the John Henry, and really what was disturbing about it was, despite the trouble that Speaking Scout had, he just blew right by Planetario pretty easily. So I'm not sure that this one has the closing kick to win this. He is firing fresh, and that's something. But this one, it almost seems like he needs more ground. The one winning effort he had was in the San Juan Capistrano at a mile and 3/4. I believe it was. So, and efforts, he shipped to Monmouth for the Haskell weekend, and excuse me, was a big disappointment there. And he just seems to be a horse who just needs it like a mile and 3/4, 2 miles, longer, and the better it is. So, can he get in the mix in the underneath here? Sure, but I don't see him as a win candidate. Astronaut to me is very interesting. He's won at this level, won the Del Mar handicap at Del Mar, and he catches a soft field off the bench. Now, I'm banking on Balladeer not being at his best because he just ran in the Breeders' Cup. He's had a long campaign without a break, and I just got a feeling that you have to believe that the Breeders' Cup was pointed to. So this would be a good time to catch him. Balladeer likes to be on the lead, so does Astronaut. And I just have a feeling that Astronaut's going to get the lead, particularly when, if you look at that John Henry prior to the Breeders' Cup, Balladeer just completely blew the first turn and was still able to get back on the lead. But I think if he does that here, Astronaut will fill in the hole. So catching Balladeer vulnerable here, I like Astronaut, and at 5-1, I think that's a pretty good price. I think he could be really dangerous if he gets on the lead. Just to add to Balladeer, he's a nice horse. He is. I mean, he had a nice win on the front end of the John Henry. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just assuming that after the Breeders' Cup turf, that he's not going to be at 100%. And that's just the only thing I'm going on. If you want to take him on top, I wouldn't blame you, but you just can't. This is the time you want to get horses after the Breeders' Cup in their next start, particularly if they don't have a layoff. And I think this is one of those cases. So I'm tossing Balladeer. Eastern Ocean just isn't good enough. Bottom line, he's a claimer, and this is a graded stakes, so he's a pass. Now, Speaking Scout is a horse that has sort of morphed into a wise guy horse in some ways. And the reason being is he's an honest horse. He always gives a good effort. But one thing about Speaking Scout, if you look at his running lines, he always seems to find trouble. And there are horses like that. They just find problems in races that prohibit them from giving a winning effort. Case in point, if you go back and look at the John Henry, he was down on the rail and he was boxed in. He couldn't, and by the time he got free, it was too late, and he got up for third. Ran a good race. He does run good races every time, and this is a softer field, and certainly he is a prime win candidate. I don't want to say he's not, but I'm just thinking, I can't get that out of my mind, that he always seems to find trouble that impedes him from a winning effort. So are we using Speaking Scout? Of course. Is he a win candidate? Is he the best horse in this race? Probably. But I just got that lingering feeling about him finding trouble and not being able to get the win. So from the field, we look. It's really hard to throw anybody out, with the exception of Eastern Ocean. And I say, as I mentioned, we're going to toss Balladeer. I like Astronaut. I think on the front end, I think he's catching him this field at just the right time. Followed by Speaking Scout. I think those are the two primary win candidates. And then really, it's a gulf between there, in my opinion. I don't see Planetario or Francesco Clement having enough to get the win, but they're certainly capable of going under. And then Luca is the wild card. Should be off the leaders, and if he's got enough, could very well steal this one. So it's entirely possible. And then, yes, this time at 15-1, I could see putting in for the value underneath. But that's really the extent of my interest. And again, I'm taking a stand against Balladeer, just mainly because it's been a long year, and post Breeders' Cup, I think this one won't be at his best, and that's kind of where I think Astronaut may take advantage.
So that's the Hollywood Turf Cup. We're going to try to beat Balladeer. I think it can be done. Speaking Scout as well. I just don't think it's cast in stone, but I think there's some good value to be had in the race. So I hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy, and I'll wish you the best of luck, of course, as always. And if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And we do thank all of you who have come on board. Love the way this community continues to grow, and I thank you all very much for being a part of it. It's going to be awful fun going forward with the rest of the thoroughbred season and beyond. So glad to have you all here. That's it from here. We'll have more postings for this weekend. There's a whole lot of racing to be had, so be on the lookout for more. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.